So today we're going to dive into a really fascinating case study. And it's about more than just a business model. It's about how you can build an entire company by zeroing in on and then getting rid of one of the most powerful emotions we all feel, anxiety.
Just think about that for a second. It's a question that hits you, right? It's loaded with all this love and responsibility, but also this huge nagging sense of distance. For so many people working and living abroad, this isn't some abstract idea. It's real. It's this constant low-level hum of worry about their parents back home. And that's the exact emotional territory we're going to explore today. All right, so let's get specific. Our case study zooms in on a massive group of people who are living with this exact challenge every single day of their lives. Let me introduce you to our key demographic, the NRK, which stands for Non-Resident Care Elite. We're talking about millions of folks building new lives all over the globe, but a big part of their heart, and honestly, a big part of their daily stress is still back home with their aging parents.
And this quote, man, it just cuts right to the chase, doesn't it? It's not just about missing someone. It's that awful feeling of being completely powerless to help when it really, really matters.
Okay, check this out, because this is the real strategic genius here. The service we're looking at gets that it's actually serving two different clients at the same time. For the parent back home, they're a health partner. But for the child abroad, the NRK, they're a peace of mind partner. See the difference? They're not just selling logistics, they are literally selling the removal of guilt. So, you've made this huge promise of peace of mind. How do you actually deliver it? Well, you don't start with the big crises. You start by tackling the small, everyday worries that just pile up. Think about it. Something that sounds so simple, like getting a medication refilled, suddenly becomes this minefield of worry when you're thousands of miles away. You're worried about your parent making that trip, you're worried they might get confused by a complicated prescription, and you're worried about the simple human possibility of them just forgetting a dose.
And here's the solution, and it's just so smart. It's a whole system. Doorstep delivery, that eliminates the physical risk. Expert counseling in their native language, Malayalam, that clears up any confusion. And then a proactive system with reminders sent to both the parent and the NRK. That's the game changer. It turns all that remote worry into calm, remote monitoring.
Okay, so the day-to-day stuff, handled. But what about those moments that make your heart stop? The real moments of panic and helplessness.
This is it. This is the big one. This is probably the #1 fear for any kid living abroad. Their parent has a serious doctor's appointment, and they're totally paralyzed by distance. Who's going to go with them? Who's going to ask the right questions? Who's going to make sure they understand what the doctor says?
And the answer this service came up with is their signature offering, the Care Buddy. You got to admit, that's a perfect name, right? This isn't just some helper. It's a trained professional who acts as your stand-in, your trusted eyes, ears, and compassionate presence right there on the ground.
And look at how the Care Buddy just systematically dismantles all that anxiety. They handle the travel. They're there for emotional support. They act as your advocate, asking the very questions you would ask. They double-check that all the instructions are understood. And then, and this is absolutely crucial, they send an immediate detailed summary right to the NRK. That painful, stressful game of telephone trying to figure out what the doctor said hours later, gone, completely eliminated. So you've got these incredible, high-value services that solve a huge problem. Now what? How do you package it all up to build a real, long-term relationship?
Well, the big brain move here is to not sell these things one by one. No, you bundle them into a membership. You shift the entire relationship from I'm buying a one-time service to I'm joining a long-term partnership. That's how you build real, lasting trust.
And the membership, it just feels like a complete safety net. Everything we've talked about is in there, plus a 24/7 helpline. But look at that last one. That's the real kicker. A dedicated relationship manager. Not a call center, not a random person. One person. For an NRK thousands of miles away, that single point of contact is everything.
Okay, this marketing strategy is seriously smart. They're targeting both of their clients at once. For the NRK abroad, it's all digital, social media ads that talk directly to that feeling of guilt and worry. But for the parent back home, it's all on the ground, partnerships with local clinics and clubs. And why is that so brilliant? Because when your mom or dad back home says, hey, this service is great, that's more powerful than any ad you could ever run.
All right, so let's pull back for a second. What's the big lesson here? What does this all mean? Well, this case study is a perfect window into a much bigger economic trend. At the end of the day, yes, this company delivers pills and provides companions, but that is not what they are selling. What they are selling is the removal of guilt, the removal of helplessness. They're selling the elimination of that constant, nagging worry you feel when you love someone from far away.
And this chart tells the whole story, doesn't it? Logistical support is valuable, for sure. Making sure meds are taken correctly is even more valuable. But the peace of mind you get from knowing someone you trust is there on the ground, that value is off the charts. It's not even close. That's the real product.
And here's what happens when you nail that. When you can literally sell the removal of a deep-seated worry, your service stops being a nice-to-have. It's not a luxury anymore. It becomes something you feel like you absolutely cannot live without.
And that's the thought I want to leave you with. Look around. Think about the services you use, the brands you're really loyal to. How many of them are you really paying for the task they do, versus how many are you paying for the specific worry they take off your plate? It's a really different way to look at the world, isn't it? Something to think about.